Welcome back to Homestead in the Hood. Now I'm about to show you how to utilize your apples here to make apple butter and the scraps to use to make apple cider. We'll also cut some apples and set them on the side for me to show you how to make some apple pie filling that I'll use in my cookies. So let's get started. Alright guys, so we have our apples here. Got a bowl here. Basically we have two other surrounding bowls, knife in the corner over here. So what we're going to do first is start peeling our apples. We're going to put our scraps in one bowl, and then we're going to set our other apples in another bowl. So that way we can rinse them off and then cut them. So they don't have to be perfect, but basically you're cutting the scraps here so you can have something for apple cider vinegar besides just your cores. The skin does very well, just as good as the cores. So far here, now what we're going to do is go ahead and separate the apple from the core. We'll put the apple pieces in this bowl, and then we'll go ahead and put the core in here, and then we'll mince everything down. Alright, now that I've got my apples separated for the most part, I'm going to chop these up, transfer them to this bowl, and just keep repeating the process until I have all my apples finished. Alright guys, so what we're going to be showing you now from Homestead in the Hood is how to make apple butter. So we've got our crock pot on high because we're only going to be doing this for a little over 4 hours, so we want it to cook fast. Of course, you can put it on low, cook it all day. It really just depends on how soon you want it or how dark you want your apple butter to be. So we're going to go ahead and take our apples here first off. We're going to go ahead and dump those apples into this. Now, I didn't tell you before, but what I did was cut up 15 apples. This is a variety of golden and then also of Alaskan. So two different kinds. We've also got a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar. We're going to go ahead and mix that in there. Don't worry, you're going to mix it all up, so kind of just toss it on in. The other thing I have here is a cup and a half of water. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. If you have apple cider vinegar or apple juice, you can use that as well. We don't have any in our house at this moment. We're also going to go in with 2 tablespoons of vanilla. So we're going to go ahead and measure that out here. If you're someone like me, I normally measure with my heart, but to make it easier for you guys, I'm going to try to make it with directions on how to measure out at home. After that, we're going to go in with 1 tablespoon of lemon. You can either use fresh or what you already have in the store, whatever is available for you, whether it's bottle or again fresh. Pour that on in there. And then we're going to go with some apple pie seasoning. You can use cinnamon and clove and nutmeg and kind of just mix that out with 1/4 teaspoon of each to do up to 1 tablespoon, or you can do 2 tablespoons. It really just depends on how much cinnamon flavor you want. We're going to go with 2 tablespoons here. All right. So we're going in now with what I like to use is a ginger maple syrup. This is just something that I use to put a special touch in the flavor of mine. You can use regular maple syrup, cardamom maple syrup, just any kind of maple syrup that you feel like would be good, a vanilla, cinnamon. Me personally, I think the ginger just gives a really nice taste. Again, going in with 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. All right. Now that we have everything in here and incorporate it, we're going to mix it up. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to put a lid on it. You're going to cook it down for 4 hours, 4.5 hours until they're nice and soft and tender. To make it easier for you to use an emulsifier or a blender or whatever you have in your house to make it nice and pureed. All right. All right, guys, so I'm basically going to take my apple scraps here that I have. I'm going to put them in a freezer bag, and I'm going to put them in my mini freezer to be able to show you how to make apple cider vinegar another day. So stay tuned. Follow along.
What's up, guys? So I'll be taking over this video for Nikki. She's went ahead and went to bed. It's been 4 hours, and I'm gonna finish out the video for her. So we'll go ahead and jump in on the next step. We're gonna blend up our apple mix, and yeah, go ahead and get it canned. So after blending, you should have a nice smooth consistency, something similar to this. Alright, so now that we have it blended, it's time for canning, and you want to start your canning with clean wash jars and make sure they're sanitized. You can sanitize them by putting them in the oven at 200 degrees for 15 minutes, or you could also boil them for 15 minutes. Now, normally with canning, you want to do hot, hot, cold, cold, which that means if your liquid's hot or whatever you're putting in your jars is hot, you want to start with hot jars and hot water. If you're starting off cold, you want to keep everything cold and bring your boiling water up to temperature. So I got my jars in the oven. I'm going to pull them out, and then we're going to go ahead and ladle our hot apple butter into the jars. So once you fill your jars, you need to wipe your rims off with distilled white vinegar. This allows for a good seal, gets all the sugar or any kind of oil or anything off. Don't forget to boil your lids. Place your hot lids on your jars and tighten the rings finger tight. Make sure not to tighten too tight. Load up your rack, place your hot jars in your water bath canner, and set that timer for 10 minutes. Once your timer's up, pull your jars out. Be careful not to get burned. Place your hot jars on a cooling rack and allow them to cool for 24 hours before storing in a cool, dark place. Alright, so that's the end of this video. I wish y'all could taste this apple butter. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I don't know why I have such a problem getting that out. If you want to get all the notifications on our latest videos, tap that bell. We'll see you next time. Much love.